Hello everyone. Today we are discussing how to write an essay. And the question is: discuss the measures to combat inflation. This question refers to the way by which the government or the South African Reserve Bank, SARB, could decrease inflation. You need to be careful because this question is not specifying who is to implement the measures to combat inflation. Hence in this case we include both the South African Reserve Bank and the government. Your introduction is the definition of the key term. In this case you define inflation. Inflation is defined as a decline in the buying power of money, which is represented in the rise in the cost of products and services in an economy. Inflation happens when the costs of a product or service rise over time, reducing your buying power. This means that inflation is the progressive loss of buying power, which is represented in an increase in the prices of products and services. For the main part of the essay, you are required to address both the cost-push inflation and the demand-pull inflation. Let us start with cost-push inflation. The first point is productivity. The government can provide subsidies to enterprises in order to assist them manufacture a greater number of products and services while also lowering production costs, resulting in lower prices. SMMEs receive free advisory services. The government can provide assistance to small enterprises in areas such as innovation and everyday administration, allowing for a greater level of manufacturing at a less expensive rate and consequently cheaper prices. If the producers are provided with subsidies, their cost of producing goods is lowered. It becomes cheaper to manufacture products, hence the retail price will be lower. The next point is competitiveness. Competition can be encouraged by deregulation, which is the elimination of rules that promote new enterprises to enter the market, resulting in an increase in the supply of commodities and lower market pricing. Development of human resources. The government might offer to help firms train their employees so that they can become better at using resources when producing, lowering prices. Infrastructure support. The government can also improve the network of roads and rail as well as offering numerous options for enterprises to continuously generate energy, such as the usage of solar systems and during electrical power outages. We move on to demand-pull inflation. Fiscal policy. The government can raise direct tax rates, causing people to have reduced disposable income, causing prices to fall. The government can also raise indirect taxes that include value-added tax, VAT, which has the potential to restrict consumer spending in stores. The government might also restrict the expenditure on public commodities and services in order to decrease the money supply in the economy, thereby lowering prices. The government can impose restrictions such as time limits on shopping. We move on to monetary policy. The South African Reserve Bank, SARB, can raise interest rates, making lending become more costly and reducing money supply, which affects demand and prices. They can use moral persuasion by persuading financial institutions to be more cautious when granting credit. They can also advise consumers to boost the amount they save in an effort to cut down on economic expenditure. The SARB can revalue the rand with the aim of rendering it more costly, which would result in reducing demand for exports and thereby local prices. The central bank can sell state bonds or shares to commercial banks for the purpose of ensuring that those banks have a limited amount to lend out. Monetary authorities can also boost the rate of cash reserves as a way to guarantee that commercial banks have not as much money to lend out, lowering demand and prices. Combating inflation should at all times be a top objective for states since low inflation encourages companies to make riskier investments, which can result in stronger growth in the long run. So your essay should look like this.